Hello, my name is Tyler Krusnam, and I did my project on Chapter 10, Power, Influence, and Politics. Please go to the next slide. Power refers to a person or group's potential to influence another person or group to do something that wouldn't normally be done. Wanting to control and influence others or to be responsible for others is the need for power. A high need for power and a low need for affiliation is leadership motive pattern. Please go to the next slide. Position power. Position power is based on one's position in the organization. Legitimate power is a position power based on a person's holding of a managerial position rather than anything the manager is or does as a person. Reward power is a position power that involves the use of both tangible and intangible rewards to influence and motivate followers. Coercive power is when the manager has the ability to punish people. They can use the coerce the subordinates to comply out the fear or avoid being punished. Please go to the next slide. Personal power is based on characteristics of that individual and stays with the individual regardless of where that person works. Expert power is based on an individual's expertise in some area. Control over information is information power. Restraint power is another type of personal power based on the manager's charisma and attractiveness to others. Persuasive power is due to the ability to use logic and facts to persuade others to adopt one's ideas or perspectives. Please go to the next slide. Personal power continued. Abusive power is using any type of power to deem, exploit, or take advantage of another, or influencing someone to do something that they will later regret. Unchecked authority can result in abusive power. Please go to the next slide. Empowerment. The degree in which power is shared and an employee has the authority to make and implement at least some decision is called empowerment. Managers allow those beneath them to have more power and control of their work. Managers provide training, resources, and coaching to give them the skills and confidence to act empowered. Please go to the next slide. Subunits obtain power. Resource scarcity, centrality, substitutability, uncertainty. Please go to the next slide. Influence. Influence tactics. Persuasion. Upward influence. Influential people have power, but not all power people have influence. Please go to the next slide. Influence tactics. People apply their power to influence the behavior of others through influence behavior. Influence tactics are more effective when they are compatible with the influencer's power relative to the target person and the relationship between the two people. Influence attempts are often unsuccessful on the first try and require the skilled use of a sequence of tactics over time. Please go to the next slide. Upward influence. Upward influence is influencing superiors. 6 primary upward influencing tactics are integration, exchange, rationality, assertiveness, correlation, upward appeals. Please go to the next slide. Persuasion skills. Build credibility. Do not begin with a hard sell. Search for shared ground and be willing to compromise. Develop compelling positions. Connect. Create a continuous feedback loop. And be patient. Please go to the next slide. Upward influence continued. Combinations of upward influence tactics that tend to be used together is called upward influence styles. 4 Upward influence styles are the shotgun, tactician, bystander, integrator. Please go to the next slide. Organizational politics. Organizational politics are social influence attempts directed at people who can provide rewards that will help promote or protect the self-interests of the actor. Common political tactics in organizations: controlling information, controlling lines, using outside experts, controlling the agenda, game planning, image building, building coalition, controlling decision parameters, eliminating political rivals. Please go to the next slide. Causes of political behavior. Conflict is at the core of organizational politics. Scarcity of valued resources also promotes political behavior, such as transfers, raises, and budgets. Organizational policies sometimes reward and perpetuate political behavior. Please go to the next slide. Managing organizational politics. Political behaviors are enhanced by organizational factors including scarce resources, ambiguous roles and goals, centralization and complexity. Keeping the number of employees assigned to each manager at a reasonable level is another way to decrease political behavior. Impression management. Impression management is the process of portraying a desired image or attitude to control the impression of others. Form us. Having a high concern with others' perceptions of us and adjusting our behavior to fit the situation is called self-monitoring. Please go to the next slide. Here's the question. Think of a time where you had to attempt to influence someone more than once. Did you have to use power in order to get them to listen? What was the reason for you doing it? Was the person convinced with what you wanted? Thank you for watching, and hope you do well.